Meeting on the air first and third Sunday, 7 p.m., W5FC. W5FC. GeekNet every fourth Monday at 7 p.m. W5FC.
Mr. Chairman, I need to make myself very clear. If we uplink now, Skynet will be in control of your military.
But you'll be in control of Skynet, right?
That is correct, sir.
Skynet.
And with those 5 films for the dark side of the moon, this is Kilo Echo 5 India Charlie X-ray. Does anyone need to use the repeater before we begin Skynet? Okay, well, started. Skynet is a weekly net called every Saturday night, 9 p.m. concerning astronomy. Our purpose is to help amateurs become more familiar with the nighttime and daytime sky, astronomy, and space in general. And it's open to all amateurs interested in this topic and encourage your participation, comments, and suggestions for this net. Stations in priority or emergency traffic may enter the net at any time by using the pro sign break followed by your call sign. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? This is a directed net, therefore please do not transmit without direction from net control. That would be me this evening, at least I hope to do the whole thing. And stations are reminded to ID at the end of your transmissions. This weekly net operates on this frequency with the field 110.9. Check-ins via Echolink are also possible using the W5FC-R station ID or Echolink node 37247. Tonight's topics, astronomy charts, pictures, and live audio video links are available online. Just go to the club website, which is w5fc.org right now for a complete list. And remember to tell others about this popular net. All amateur operators are welcome. You need not be a member of any amateur radio club to participate. This net is usually 90 minutes long, although I think we're going to run a little short tonight. We have general announcements, Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas events, where and when you can look through a telescope, maybe someday, National Space Society events. Discussion topic of the evening was space exploration and space history, constellation of the week, space launches of the week, recent astronomical discoveries, visible satellite passages over the next couple of days, astronomical Q&A, and a 70 around. So let's go ahead and get started with low-power short-time check-ins. If you are one of those, please come now with your call sign, your name, and let me know if you're low-power short-time. unusual. Okay, very good. We'll go to general check-ins. If you'd like to join us this evening, please come with your call sign phonetically, your name, where you're transmitting from.
Kilo India 5, Gulf Romeo Hotel, Melissa, Northeast Dallas.
This is Alpha Golf 5, Papa Mike, Rich and Rockwall, AG 5 p.m.
November Tango 5, Tango Mike, Tony in Dallas. Oh my, everybody go to bed, they're all watching the game, right? KI5GRH, Melissa, Northeast Dallas, I got you. AG5PH, Rich and Rockwall, NT5TM, Tony, Dallas. Additional check-ins, please come out.
Alpha 5, Alpha Hotel, Robert Richardson.
Whiskey Bravo 5, Oscar Zulu Lima, Brendan DeSoto.
Kilo Golf 5, Whiskey Victor Lima, James and Carrollton.
Kilo Foxtrot 5, Zulu Bravo Lima, Bill, Farmers Branch.
November 5, Hotel Romeo Whiskey. Name is Mike, and I'm at the corner of Turner 1L and 287, almost in Mansfield.
Kilo Foxtrot 5, Juliet Hotel Alpha, Chaz, Mesquite.
This is Kilo 5, Kilo Tango X-Ray, Kelly in Quinlan.
Whiskey 7, Kilo Yankee, Golf, Calvin in Arlington.
Okay, not too bad. I got AA5AH, Robert, and I don't know, but I got you down, Robert. WB5OZL, Brenda in DeSoto. I got KG5 Whiskey Victor Lima, that's James in Carrollton. KF5ZBL, Bill in Farmers Branch. N5HRW, Mike, I guess he's mobile and near Mansfield. KF5JHA, Jazz in Mesquite. K5KTX, Miss Kelly in Quinlan. And W7KYG, Calvin in Arlington. I'll take additional check-ins now. Please come with your call sign name. Where you're transmitting.
November 5, Bravo Bravo, Bill in Irving.
Okay, just picked up one more. That's N5BB, Bill over in Irving. And I know JJ's out there, N5IMS, so I'll put him down over on Echolink. And I see no one else there who hasn't already checked in. So JJ, I got you checked in for Carrollton. Any other additional check-ins, please come in with your call sign name where you're transmitting from.
Five, Oscar Fox to Clay of the Gate.
Kilo Bravo 9, there Oscar Kilo, Sean Fort Worth.
5 Kilo Tango Zulu Philip, White Rock Creek on the Echo Link.
Alright, I got you. I called you Philippe. How about Nancy? Well, Philip's a better name anyway. Okay, got you down. Hey, do we have any general announcements this evening? These could be of hand, astronomical, space, or of general interest to licensed hands. Somebody call.
November Tango 5, Tango Mike.
Okay, Tony, you're the guy. NT5TM, go ahead.
Thank you, Tom. I'd like to remind everyone that this is not our last net of the evening. We do have the Afterglow movie discussion coming up on this repeater at 10:30-ish p.m. I believe our movie is the 1993 science fiction film, I'll Follow You Down. More information is at the Afterglow Movie Facebook group, or check your email if you're an Afterglow Movie group member. We have several other interesting activities going on or coming up. The January Vhf Contest. I keep trying to say June, but no, there is a January Vhf Contest, and it's going on right now. 6 meters and up. You can even use FT8. It's a little cold and windy and dark out there for me to put up a 6-meter antenna, but I have set an alarm for tomorrow morning. I'm going to try to find some time to operate in it and get on the air. So it's a fun thing to try. It's really hard sometimes to find people who are trying to make long-distance contacts up above 50 megahertz. So now's your chance. Get out there, try it for the first time. You could be surprised. But perhaps you would rather operate from shortwave or on shortwave frequencies in a park with friends. Well, we can help with that. The Dallas and Irving clubs are going to be hosting a joint winter field day 2 weeks from today at a park whose name I can never say right. I know Guy got that right earlier in the evening, but you can check out whfc.org for more details. This is not a super high-intensity event. We'll start setting up at about 10 a.m. We will be on the air at 1, and we'll be packing up at about 8. So you don't have to be there at 4 a.m. or anything like that. In fact, that park is called... Oh, why is my browser freezing? The T.W. Richardson Grove Park in Irving. The T.W. Richardson Grove Park in Irving. It's actually a little hard to find, although it's very pretty. Check out whfc.org for a map. And of course, speaking of things you can do at whfc.org, you could also find out how you could nominate a Dallas Amateur Radio Club member for the Whitten and Griffith Community Service Award. This recognizes public service through amateur radio. We don't have to award this plaque every year, but we do sure want to try. So if you know someone or know of someone who you think is deserving of the award, you can find out more details at, you guessed it, w5fc.org. And finally, it was mentioned during TechNet that the ARRL has sent many of us a survey on changes for field day rules going forward into the future. Do we think some of the changes they made during the pandemic were a good idea and should perhaps become permanent? Well, if you got that survey, it's due on Monday, so please let your views be heard. Anyway, that's what I've got. November Tango 5, Tango Mike. Thank you, and happy birthday, Skynet.
Very good. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, he's right. We're celebrating a birthday tonight. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But tonight marks the 10th anniversary of Skynet. We started this net on Saturday evening, January 14th, 2012. That's how long ago it was. And I think we only had one night where we did not have a net, and that was a party night for the club. So you figure out all the Saturdays, and you can figure out just how many nets we've actually done. We'll talk a little bit about it. Let's see. Other announcements, don't forget AMSAT Net. We've got a bunch of them. Most of these things you know, but there's the national one out of Houston. That's every Tuesday night at 8. Sorry, let's see here. Every Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. You have link installed and you registered, and you'll find the net under groups of AMSAT. Go to their website, which is amsatnet.com. You'll find a link there. They will take check-ins, but they do it in an unusual way. They will take live check-ins on their local repeater. But it's a good net. If you're interested in something a little more personable, you can always get on our net, the AMSAT Net East, Tuesday evenings at 8 o'clock. That's this repeater, 46880 appeal from 110.9 with Tom and 5HY. He's got people out there that are doing other parts of the net, so you get a different voice every week, which is pretty cool. The only time you do not get that is first Monday of the month, which is the DARC Club Night. So he's in transit. We're ready to prepare for the net. So for the Dallas Amateur Radio Club membership, not net, but meetings. There we go. Also, because in case you missed it on Tuesday night, or you want to double dip, you can do the AMSAT Net West on Wednesday at 9 p.m. on the Arlington repeater at 147.140 megahertz, CPL 110.9 as well. That one has a positive offset. Don't forget that. Everything you ever wanted to know about amateur radio satellites, this is the place to be. Tom knows. His crew of very knowledgeable people are there that can help as well. So, other nets that we have available are the DARC nets. On Mondays we have at 7 p.m. Ham Fixin's net during the first week, which is anything having to do with cooking. Yeah, we don't always do radio. We can cook and we do like to eat. So that's from 7 to about 8. Second week is MCOM 101. If you're interested in emergency communications or want to brush up on some skills or questions, it's a great net. Kevin, N5KRG, does that net. Third week is Ham Fixin's net, a second helping. It's that popular, by the way. Fourth week we have Geek Net, and that's done by Tony at T5TM. We expand beyond just amateur radio, but we love that, and usually gets the most interest. We have some interesting news from the world of science and news of the weird. It's in search of, so get out your belt bottoms and be ready for a great time. Fifth week is Surprise Net. Yeah, there's occasionally a fifth Monday. If we told you what it is, it wouldn't be a surprise. So come on by and find out. There is a lot of participation by those who check in. Then on Friday evenings, we have Surf City Simulation. That's at 8 p.m. Learn about emergency communications with Surf Trade amateur radio operators. Such a private GRH and her crew will help you navigate the most disaster-prone city in the universe every Friday at 8 p.m. And all are welcome to check in on that net. We have, of course, Saturday, which is the night of net. Start net from 7 to 8 in case you missed it. Take about a 1-hour respite, and we go to Skynet, which is what you're correctly, how to get in there and be a part of another, and then you can join. Nothing wrong with it at all. All right, here's tonight's Afterglow movie info. Professor looked in both directions, waited for the green light, and then started briskly across the street. Immediately began yelling at him. Out of the way! Can't you see I'm driving here? The man vowed never to return to New Jersey, having witnessed some of the worst driving in the history of driving. This is a common feeling amongst many people who visit New Jersey. Flash forward 12 years later, the professor's son, Errol, has been waiting for his father to return. Not being one of the brightest bulbs in the pack, thinking his father's Air Canada flight was just late because of the metric system, wasn't winning him any free tuition at even the much-maligned Arizona State University. Errol then came to the second unlikely possibility. His father's disappearance was either one of those of an errant time machine or those water monkeys you purchase by mail on the back of most comic books have grown to outlandish size and take his father into their underwater monkey kingdom. As the underwater monkey kingdom theory was looking less and less probable, Errol sighed and ordered the X-ray glasses and the authentic cardboard time machine, also from the same comic book. One thing we could say about Errol was he was consistent. So join us for this, I don't know if it's a Canadian classic or not, but it's called I'll Follow You Down. I think it's from 2013, could be wrong, at 10:30 p.m. And I watched it last night, managed to survive the whole ordeal. I thought it was not bad at all. All right, let's see here. I'll go ahead and ask, are there any questions or any additional check-ins? Please come out.
This is Whiskey 5 Golf Uniform Sierra Gus, far northeast Dallas.
This is November Whiskey Romeo, NAWWR Romeo, Mobile Hollywood.
Kilo 5. Juliet Delta Whiskey John in Coppell. Check in only.
Golf 5.
All right, we picked up W5GUS, that's Gus. We're in far northeast Dallas. N5WWR, I think it's W5. Maybe it is N5WWR. Romy over, who is mobile right now. You were breaking up. By the way, thank you for doing the net earlier tonight. That was most appreciated. K5JDW, John in Coppell. KG5ZMG, that's Joe. He was on Echo Link, so I got you checked in. Anyone else, please?
November 8 Whiskey Romeo, 8 lands, like where you're from, NAWWR.
Yeah, I should know that. You're not allowed to do that. Old people have a hard time making changes. So, and it's Pete, WWR. I got you down. Let's see here. Let me go to the next section. Texas, Astronaut side of Dallas. So, there's several people on from TAS who would like to stop Texas Astronaut Society.
KF5JHA.
All right, Jazz, go ahead. You're breaking
up as well. I'm using 50 watts, and yet it's still a problem. The next Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas Club meeting will be on Friday, January the 28th at 7:30 p.m. The meeting will be held on Zoom. Dr. Noah Peterson from Montana State University will be the featured speaker and will be speaking about gravity waves. The TASS Club members will receive an email link to the Zoom meeting in advance of the meeting. And Saturday night public observing sessions have been placed on hold because of COVID. One of the reasons why Skynet was picked to be on Saturday nights was so that there could be an opportunity for live reports from the TASS public observing sessions that, well, used to be held on Saturday nights as well. Hopefully they'll resume soon. Check the TASS website, texasastro.org, for up-to-date information and details about meetings and public observing sessions. I hope speaking slowly has helped. This is KF5 JHA, back to our net control.
All right, very good. Thank you, Chaz. And I turned up power a little bit too. Don't know what's going to happen to the stream. That usually messes it up a little bit. Better than nothing. All right, next is the National Space Society events and perhaps activities. Bill, you're checked in, N5BB. You got anything for us this week?
Hello, Tom and the net. This is N5BB. Yeah, the noise is probably on me. So it happens when there's wind with our current setup. And by the way, Tom, changing your power did not change your hum. Still got a very strong hum in your signal. I heard on Randy earlier tonight, and I reminded you guys with an email earlier. So we can hear you through it, but to my ears, it's annoying. Anyway, the National Space Society meets on the second, local chapter, the North Texas chapter, meets on the second Sunday afternoon of each month. I happen to be the membership director of the North Texas chapter. If you have any questions about National Space Society or the local chapter, you can send me an email at n5bb@arrl.net or space@byrom.net. That's space@byrom.net. And I'll be glad to answer your questions. Our last meeting of the local chapter was this last Sunday when we had a very good presentation by one of our members of our chapter on food in space. How are the astronauts going to eat food in the moon or Mars if they're there for weeks? How do they currently, how is the food stored on the International Space Station? All kinds of neat things about food in space. Gus was there, so our own W5GUS, he asked, and I gave him a visitor pass. If you want to see that presentation, let me know, and I'll send you a link to it. Again, n5bb@arrl.net or space@byrom.net. Our next meeting of our local chapter will be on February the 13th, Sunday at 4 p.m., and we do not yet know the topic. Currently, we've kind of deferred the local activities of our chapter because of the pandemic. We normally go to schools and libraries and things. N5BB. But there are a few other things coming up with National Space Society, the group in general. So tomorrow there is a space event, and for some reason it has fallen off of my calendar. How did that happen? I'll have to look it up here. Yeah, National Space Society is having an event tomorrow, which other people can visit, and for some reason it missed my calendar. The event is called A Day of Space and Innovation, and it starts at 11 a.m. tomorrow. I don't know how long it's going to be. I'm sure at least an hour. It's going to be incredible strides in science, space innovation, the arts, and more in the past several years. This programming illustrates while looking at what is happening right now and the people that are breaking paradigms and reforming a different and brighter future. Anyway, it's going to be on E360 TV. So again, the name of this is A Day of Space and Innovation on E360 TV and some other places, like Google Play Store, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time. If you have any interest, the cost is free. If you have the interest in looking at that, you can send me an email at the previous address. Some of the people on it are going to be Dr. Anthony Paustian, talking about the sheer impossibilities and inspiration from the Apollo program, followed by the Ghost Brothers, whoever those are, Dr. David Gallo with NOAA, James Manning from JPL, Orbital Assembly, Explore Mars, Maria Mayer, Dr. Alan Stern with the New Horizons Project, and finally Kai Kite, an inspirational violinist. This is all tomorrow, A Day in Space and Innovation, 11 a.m. That's all I've got in 5BB.
All right, that's a lot of information, Bill. Thank you. Does anyone need any fills? Okay, very good. Well, anybody's looking at the script, I send the script out ahead of time. For others, there's this big blank space for discussion topic of the evening, which tonight is, or was going to be, about Skynet and its origins. So I'm just going to go ad hoc and tell you what I know and what happened. A little over 10 years ago, probably it was in October or November, and Chaz probably is the one that can probably tell you exactly how that one does tell the story. Maybe I should just let him have to do it. But let me tell you the part that got me to asking him about possibly starting an astronomy net. So I used to do a lot of travel, and coming home on Fridays was a very common thing out of Oklahoma. And there was a local repeater on the way home that I would listen to. The ARC was just a little too far away for me. And I'd listen in, and a couple of guys kept talking up the fact that they had enjoyed an astronomy net years ago. I don't know where, when, how long it lasted or anything, but they kept bringing it up. And so I thought, there's a real interest in astronomy. There's a lot of crossover in amateur radio, as we all know. Pilots, for one, electrical engineers, for others, community service, another, law enforcement has their dips in there as well. But just about anything and everything involves some sort of curiosity, and astronomy fits that very, very well. It's very interesting that when we do Moon Day every year, how many people belong to 2 or 3 organizations at Moon Day that are also members of the Dallas Amateur Radio Club or other amateur radio clubs in the area. It just seems a natural thing to do, and it seemed like a natural thing to have a net, because we had such qualified people. Well, we didn't have any qualified people initially, or at least I didn't know, until Chaz had put up his membership to the DARC, and he mentioned that he had his degree in astrophysics, and he was one of the lab people over at what was then Brookhaven College. So, Chaz, KF5JHA, would you like to continue the story, please?
Well, thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. I was a very new ham. I'd gotten my license in December, and I was at the January Dallas DARC meeting. And yes, I was voted into the club on that day, and I'd indicated that I was an astrophysicist. And Tom said he wanted to talk to me after the meeting. He was the president at the time. And I said, okay. And afterwards he suggested to me about a net, which I had no idea what that was, on astronomy that could be started. Well, discussions happened, and about a year later, it actually took place. Tom and I swapped back and forth some emails about a script. Tom wrote the script. I just said, yeah, that looks good, because I really didn't know what a net was. And so it started. I was only a one-year-old ham radio operator when that first started. But it turned into be something that's happened for the last 10 years. So I'll turn this back to Tom. KF5, JHA. Back to you, Tom.
All right. Thank you, Chaz. And with that came other folks that have joined the club and are members. There's a heavy crossover between PAS and the Dallas Amateur Radio Club as well, which is pretty cool. And many of those folks have come in and actually helped out on doing the nets. I'll name some of them that have been really helpful. We've got Miss Kelly, who's K5KTS. She's on frequency tonight. Miss Billy, KF5PDS. She's been in net control. We've had K5B Mike, who has worked as net control or provided some materials for the net. Now, all these folks have done a lot of different stuff. They provided some really interesting insight. I know that Ms. Kelly has done quite a bit with JPL, ambassador for JPL, and all of the unmanned missions to Mars and beyond. She's provided some really insider information, which is really great. And she even got us an astronaut one time. Kelly, you want to tell us about our astronaut K5KTS or KE5I6?
Hey Tom, this is K5KTX. Good evening to everyone on the net. And so we did, Chaz, you may help me out with the date, but I believe it was in March 20, somewhere in there. We were at the Messier Marathon out at the Three Rivers Foundation Comanche Springs Astronomy campus out in West Texas near Kroll. And we had the great opportunity to have an astronaut. Don Pettit was there. He was going to be speaking and also just participating with us for the weekend. And Chaz, actually, because I was too scared to, but Chaz asked him if he would agree to be on Skynet on Saturday night, and he did. And we were able to transmit over Echolink, and I believe Chaz of this out on his YouTube channel somewhere, and it was a great honor to get to interview him. He did laugh at me because when I did his intro, he said I knew more about him than he did, which was pretty funny. It was great to get to interview him, and he is also a ham radio operator, and I think that's all I can remember. So this is K5KTX. Back to you, Tom.
All right, thank you, Kelly. Sorry to put you on the spot like that, but we had our own astronaut. You brought him in from the Texas Star Party. Thanks very much for that. Thank you for all the work you do. Ms. Kelly does the very detailed space history segments that alternates with Brenda WB5OZL, and do much appreciate that. And not to miss anyone, but Miss Brenda WB5OZL has been helping out net control and doing all the things that can be possible. She's helped me out on occasion. I almost asked her help TM, Tony, has also been net control, and he's also provided space history information and has, on many occasions, been net control, and I appreciate you as well for all the stuff that you've done. So I'm sure I'm missing folks along the way. There's a few folks that have moved out of the area. Had a couple of, several silent keys. Joe, W1XWX, was very, very instrumental in spreading the word about the Skynet, both in TAS and around areas. He would do a kiosk and talk about astronomy and amateur radio. He had his own podcast called The Telescope Man and would frequently talk about DARC and the things that we did, as well as trying to introduce folks into a very easy to cross-pollinate hobby, astronomy and, of course, amateur radio. And he did a really great job with that, and I appreciate all the work that he did through those years. We're going to miss him. And then KC50ZT, that was Miss Carolyn, who originally did, and whose segment is named after her every week, Constellation of the Week. I will bring one of those up here in the future. I just ran out of time and the willpower to get that done. One of the reasons why it's still a hum on the radio is I've not been able to get underneath here and try and figure out what the heck's going on. Maybe I'll feel a little better after a while. But Miss Carolyn very enthusiastically did the constellations of the week. She also picked the topic of the week when she was net control. She did an excellent job at all of that. She was also a member of the American Variable AAB Variable Star group and would measure variations in stars over a period of time as well as their periods, which was pretty cool in and of itself. She had a telescope. In her later years, she could not take it outside, but she certainly was an avid fan, and we enjoyed having her on the radio to discuss them. So there are, what you may or may not know, there was literally hundreds and hundreds of hours of these nets that are just sitting out there for anybody to listen to. They are available both on YouTube and on archive.org, including the original first net. That doesn't mean that they're particularly great or fantastic, but they're ours, and we put them up, and some people can figure out when did we do this. We can generally find them on those archive resources. So I thought I'd mention it to you. In 10 years, hopefully we'll go another 10 years. I don't think it'll be me, but somebody out there will find some youngin' to take over and do this stuff, and take it another 10 years into the future. Anyone, comments you want to bring to the net about Skynet at 10? Please come with your call. Chaz Tusby here with the AAVSO that Carolyn was a part of. All right, well, I said my piece for this evening. We'll do some other stuff here for the rest of the year, for the balance of the year, when I bring it up. But we are then on Skynet, and we'll go forward. This is KE5ICX Net Control for tonight's Skynet. Next up is Chaz. He's got a segment on What's Up. So Chaz, whenever you're ready, go right ahead.
Well, thank you, Tom. I hope this comes through clearly. AAVSO is the American Association of Variable Star Observers. And you can actually go online and find information about variable stars for free, but you could also join that organization as well. Yeah, this is KF5JHA. My degree is in astrophysics. I'm in charge of the astrophysics lab and geology lab at Dallas College on the Brookhaven campus, and we do call this segment of Skynet Was Up. Ooh, it sounds like I'm not doing too badly over Echolink anyway. Slide Master, slide number 2, please. By the way, Tom is the slide master, as well as I call him Grandpa Skynet, since he really started this. On January the 9th, the moon was at its first quarter phase. So the current phase of the moon is a waxing gibbous. Full moon will be on January the 17th. That's just in a couple of days. On January 25th, the moon phase will be the third quarter. On January the 30th, the moon is at perigee, which is the point in the moon's orbit that is closest to the Earth at a distance at that time of 362,252 kilometers. The new phase of the moon will be on January the 31st. On February the 8th, the moon is at first quarter phase, and on February the 10th, the moon is at apogee, which is the point in the moon's orbit that is furthest from the Earth at a distance at that time of 404,896 kilometers. Slide number 3, please. A couple of days ago, on January the 13th, the two planets, Mercury and Saturn, were just a few degrees apart in their conjunction in the west-southwestern evening sky just after sunset. I got a text message from my friend Huey. Yes, he's still on Echolink. About observing these planets. He saw them on Wednesday evening, and he said in his text, Mercury was beautiful and brighter than Saturn. Thank you, Huey. Slide number 4, please. On January the 29th, the moon and Mars will be in conjunction with Venus very close beside them, all in the early morning southeastern sky. Yes, Venus recently was in the evening sky, but it transitioned to the morning sky. On January the 30th, this is slide number 5, the moon is in conjunction with the planet Mercury in the early morning southeastern sky. It may be difficult to see this conjunction due to the strong twilight that the conjunction, and also because the conjunction is very low in the sky. Slide number 6. On February the 2nd, the moon is in conjunction with Jupiter in the southwestern evening sky. And this is KF5, JHA, and this is Skynet. Slide number 7 is just a recap of the next Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas Club meeting on Friday, January the 28th at 7:30. The speaker is Dr. Noah Pearson from Montana State University. And the picture that you saw earlier looks like it was his high school picture from the band. I think he is holding a trumpet or a cornet. I'm not sure. If you want to get details about the club and activities, text astro.org. Slide number 8. Now, do any of you out there in Radio Link have any questions or need to fill any of the information? Or do you have general astronomy questions? I don't know everything, but I may know the answer to your question. Come now to your call sign if you have a question. Slow night. Must be because of the Buffalo Bills and the New England game. 47-10. Yeah, you can come back to Skynet. You don't need to watch that game. All right, so as the moon waned at the end of December, so these words for this segment of Skynet. Stay safe, keep well, pray for our world. It's the only one where humans live. And until next week, actually, I'll be doing another Skynet segment in a few minutes. Keep looking up so you know what's up. And this is KF5JHA, back to who I call the grandpa of Skynet, KE5ICX. Tom, it's all back to you.
Oh, thank you, Chaz. You just bring a twinkle and smile to my eyes. And I know where you live, so never mind. Okay, this is KE5ICX. Let's see, what should we do next? See if there's any additional check-ins. If you'd like to join us this evening, please come now to AC5 something, and that was it, and a C noise, not you, it's us. Try one more time, please.
This is Alpha Charlie 5, Lima. Name is Dave, Louisville.
Oh, okay, AC5, Delta Mike, is it? I heard you say Louisville. I'll get you on reverse. One more time, please.
This is Alpha Charlie 5, Delta Lima. Name is Dave, Louisville.
All right, third time's the charm, Dave. Thanks. AC5TL. I should know that. All right, we got you checked in. Next up is space exploration and space history. This week, Kelly, K5KTX. Miss Kelly, go ahead with your presentation, please.
Thank you, Tom. This is K5KTX again, and I'm going to try to keep this pretty short because I have no idea whether I'm even coming through very well at all, given that I'm about 50 miles from the repeater. So just a quick update on the James Webb Space Telescope. Webb has begun the detailed process of fine-tuning its individual objects into one huge, precise telescope. Engineers first commanded actuators, 126 devices that will move and shape the primary mirror segments, and 6 devices that will position the secondary mirror to verify that all are working as expected after launch. The team also commanded actuators that guide Webb's fine steering mirror to make minor movements, confirming they are working as expected. The fine steering mirror is critical to the process of image stabilization. Ground teams have now begun instructing the primary mirror segments and secondary mirror to move from their stowed for launch configuration off numbers that keep them snug and safe from rattling or vibration. These movements will take at least 10 days, after which engineers can begin the 3-month process of aligning the segments to perform as a single mirror. The mirrors move in very small increments over the course of 10 days to complete their deployment. They move approximately 1 millimeter per each day. And in space history this past week, beginning with January the 9th, 1963, the Relay communication satellite relayed the first television through space. Of the unveiling of Mona Lisa at the U.S. National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. With broadcasting companies in the United States and Europe, Relay One brought television of the event to stations in France and Great Britain. As they watched, the citizens of these countries were able to see the unveiling of the Mona Lisa painting in the National Gallery, along with the famous attendees present, such as President John F. Kennedy and French Minister of Cultural Affairs, André Malraux. The Relay One satellite was one of the first satellites used to test the prospect of active communication in space. It went on to transmit other significant moments in 1963, including Winston Churchill's honorary U.S. citizenship ceremony, and later carried the first trans-Pacific television signal between Japan and the United States. Back on January the 10th, back in 1946, near Belleville, New Jersey, Lieutenant Colonel John H. DeWitt, Jr. bounced a radio signal off the moon. DeWitt, the laboratory director of the U.S. Army Signal Corps Evans Signal Laboratory, had given his project the name Diana after the goddess of the moon. In 1940, DeWitt attempted to bounce radio signals off the moon in order to study the Earth's atmosphere. He wrote in his notebook, "It occurred that it might be possible to reflect ultra-short waves from the moon. If this could be done, it would open a wide possibility. So far as I know, no one has ever sent waves off the Earth and measured their return through the entire atmosphere of the Earth." On January 1946, travel from New Jersey to the moon and back, a distance of over 800,000 kilometers. The experience will repeat daily over the next 3 days and on 8 more days later that month. On January the 11th, 1962, in his State of the Union message to the Congress, we have taken past year a great new effort in outer space. Our aim is not simply to be first on the moon, any more than Charles Berg's real aim is to be first. His aim is to develop techniques in the field of atmosphere and are making this effort, which we hope will place one of our citizens on the moon, is to develop in a new frontier of science, commerce, and cooperation, the position of the United States in the free world. This nation belongs among the first to and among if not, we don't. And more recent history, January 14, 2005, the European Space Agency Huygens probe touched down on Titan, one of the moons of Saturn. It was the first time a human-made vehicle had touched down on the surface of a moon in our outer solar system. Huygens was a massive Cassini mission to Saturn. And finally, we have a couple of astronaut birthdays this past week. The first one is January the 11th, 1975. Robert Hines, who is a new astronaut, part of class of 2017, and he is slated to be the pilot for SpaceX Crew 4, which will be going up to the International Space Station sometime in April of this year, 67 and 68. And also, January the 14th, STS-51G, STS-34, 33, 58, and then she went up from the space station. And that's all of this 5KT back to you.
All right, thank you, Miss Kelly. Trail there. Most of it. Shannon, we got you. Yeah, it's a struggle getting into the repeater tonight. For those who are interested, there is some work being planned. New equipment, another new antenna, a bunch of things are in the works, already ordered, and then a work crew to go and put this stuff up. So as you can imagine, large antenna, this caliber being the roof somewhere, especially on the roof of a tall building, gets a lot of punishment. So that's what happens. And it's time. That one's 10 or 12 years old anyway. This is KE5ICX net control tonight, Skynet. Let me go ahead and ask if there's any additional check-ins. Please come in. Okie dokie, back to jazz. K5JJ, run into your radio. It's your turn for the constellations of the week in KE5ICX.
Thank you, Tom. I hope this is working over the radio frequency. It sounds like it's okay over Echolink. I have both running at the same time here. And I'm watching the video, too. Hey, your dog's tail is wagging, Tom. It's not laying down looking like it's just not doing anything. I saw the tail. Oh, wow, that's good. Miss Carolyn's constellation of the week is named in honor of Silent Key Carolyn, KC5OZT. Carolyn contributed to Skynet each week almost from its beginning in 2012 until May of 2019, with a detailed look at one particular constellation each week. Since there are about 52 easily visible constellations seen in Texas throughout the year out of the 88 total constellations, so Ms. Carolyn covered the entire sky as seen over Texas in a year. In her honor, we've continued the tradition of a constellation per week and named this segment after her. Ms. Carolyn's constellations of the week this week is Perseus the Hero and Camelopardatus the Giraffe. Slide Master, slide number 11, please. Perseus is the hero in the story involving several other constellations, which include Cetus the sea monster, Andromeda the princess, Cassiopeia the queen, Cepheus the king, and of course, Pegasus the flying horse. I've told this story several times over the course of the Skynet over the years, yes. Slide Master, slide number 12. This is the reason why everyone is still here listening through all this bacon frying. The jokes of the week. Have you heard, oh, and I realize that the video portion, I don't have the right joke sitting on the video portion. Oh, well, you'll just have to listen. Have you heard the new color-changing superhero? Yep, people call him the Human. Well, it's not really after Huey, but it's the Human. What do you call a superhero completely made of ice? Just ice. Or justice. Who is Chaz's favorite comic book hero? The Sir. Yeah, there you go. Okay, now 3 about giraffes. I respect giraffes. They're an animal I can look up to. Why are giraffes so slow to apologize? It takes them a long time to swallow their pride. And finally, what do you get when you cross a giraffe and a pig? Bacon and legs. Okay, this is Chaz, KF5GHA. Slide Master, slide number 13, please. Algol, Beta Persei, the demon star, is one of the best-known stars in the sky. It was the first eclipsing binary star ever discovered and one of the first variable stars to be found. Beta Persei, or Algol, is in fact a triple star system composed of a binary star, Beta Persei A, which is eclipsed by Beta Persei B. The apparent magnitude of the system is around 2.1, but it drops to 3.4 every 2 days, 20 hours, and 49 minutes, and stays dimmer for about 10 hours, which is how long the eclipse lasts. A secondary eclipse occurs when the primary component, called the dimmer star, Algol, is the prototype for a class of stars known as the Algol variables. Algol system emits X-rays and radio wave flares as well. Algol has an apparent magnitude of 2.1 and is 92.8 light years in distance. It passed within 9.8 light years of our solar system about 7.3 million years ago, and its apparent magnitude at that time was about 2.5, which made it brighter than Sirius, currently the brightest star in the sky, and that is today. Slide number 14, please. NGC 869 and 884 is the double cluster best seen in binoculars. These bright open clusters are easily visible to the naked eye as nebulous patches of light in the northern Perseus. NGC 869 is the brighter and more concentrated of the two. It is about 30 to 35 minutes in diameter and is dominated by two bright orange stars near its center. NGC 884 is slightly larger but more scattered. It has a bright orange star a little bit off-center. Each of these clusters contain about 100 to 150 stars. Slide master, slide number 15. M34 is a large, bright, open cluster, easily visible on a finder and is best seen in binoculars as well. Composed of many bright stars and a sprinkling of fainter stars. So it is about 40 minutes in diameter and moderately concentrated at its center. About 100 stars are counted. It looks like a slightly fainter version of the earlier of the clusters in the double cluster. Slide master, slide number 16. M76 is an interesting planetary nebula composed of two lobes, each given their own NGC number, and is commonly known as the Little Dumbbell Nebula. It resembles a smaller version of the famous planetary nebula in Vulpecula. M76 handles magnification well and appears to be rectangular in shape. The southwestern lobe, NGC 650, is the brighter of the two and is separated from the fainter lobe by dark lanes of material. It's a remarkable object. Slide number 17, please. Camelopardus, the giraffe, is a relatively modern constellation, having been introduced by a Flemish astronomer in 1612. The name Camelopardus is Latin for a camel with leopard spots, which loosely describes the giraffe. In fact, the scientific name for the giraffe species is Graphia camelopardus. Slide number 18. Beta camelopardus is the brightest star in camelopardus, even though it is beta and not alpha. Beta is magnitude 4, which shows how dim the stars in camelopardus are. Beta is a double star, and it's easy to split in low power. It's easy to split at even 41 power at an 8-inch telescope. The primary star looks white with maybe just a touch of yellow, and the companion star looks slightly blue. Here, Camelopardus 11 and 12, which are located near Beta Camelopardus, is another pair. The challenge of the double star Camelopardus 11 and 12 is being able to see and split them with your unaided eye. Camelopardus 11 is a dim magnitude 5.23, while Cam 12 is even fainter at 6.21, putting it right at the limit of human vision in very dark, clear skies. Keppel and Sanders described Camelopardus 11 and 12 as forming a wide pair of white and deep yellow stars for binoculars in small telescopes at low power. Slide number 19, please. Kimball's Cascade and NGC 1502. NGC 1502 is a nice open cluster at one end of Kimball's Cascade. The Cascade is a long chain of about 20 unassociated stars, first noticed by Kimball of Alberta, Canada. Kimball told Walter Scott Houston about this asterism, who named it Kimball's Cascade in his honor. The name stuck. Kimball's Cascade is one of the objects in the Astronomical League's Binocular Deep Sky Observing Club. Interesting, NGC 1502 is not, even though it is an easy binocular object. The cluster, NGC 1502 itself, has about 45 stars that together shine at around 6 magnitude, so it is easily picked up in binoculars and finder scopes. An 8-inch or larger instrument shows all of the cluster known to its faintest components, which include two interesting multiple stars, Struve 484 and 485. Contained within Struve 485 system is SZ Camelopardus, which is an eclipsing variable star. Slide number 20, please. IC 342, I have to tell you that IC usually means you can't see. It's a different catalog. Is a nice face-on spiral galaxy with long thought to be possibly an outlying member of our own local group, according to Burnham's Celestial Handbook and Walter Scott Huson's Deep Sky Wonders. It was never for certain, since the galaxy is near the plane of the Milky Way. An obstruction by dust in our own galaxy made the distance determination difficult. More recent observations have shown, while it is not a local group member, it is part of the Coma Sculptor cloud of galaxies, which includes our local group of galaxies. Similar to M33, IC 342 is a fairly large object, and its overall brightness spread over a relatively large area of the sky, giving a low surface brightness. Therefore, it is more easily noticed in wide-field, short focal length telescopes. However, once picked up, some structure is visible in most amateur telescopes. And this is KF5JHA. This is Skynet, slide number 21. There are a few more Astronomical League observing program objects in the constellations of Perseus the Hero and Camelopardus the Giraffe. I've just given you a sampling of a few of those objects. Astronomical League has over 70 different observing program objects. Has over 70 different observing programs, most of which have about 100 objects. If you observe just 10 different objects in an observing program each month, then you can earn an observing certificate and a pin in about a year. And that is Miss Carolyn's Constellations of the Week, Perseus the Hero and Camelopardus the Giraffe. I want to thank my friends Dave Hutchinson and Dennis Harwell for the research and work on the sky objects that I've used, borrowed, and I steal for every Skynet. I also at times use the website constellation-guide.com for information. Next time I'll take a look at the constellation Taurus, and this is KF5JHA, back to our net control. Tom, it's all yours again. Oh, and happy anniversary, everyone.
Good, thank you, Chad. Boy, a lot of material, and all very interesting. Thank you very much. This is KE5I6 net control for my Skynet. I guess got a little bit of time. I'll give you the launches, and then we'll go to this Brenda's segment. This is from Spaceflight Now, their launch schedule, which they update daily, by the way. Any of these launches that you can probably also punch up on YouTube or from the Associated Space Center site. They usually stream this stuff live, which is pretty cool. So convert over to local time, you'll be able to watch these launches. First one, January 17th to 18th, is the Falcon 9 Starlink 4-6 launch from Launch Complex 39A at Kennedy Space Center. This will be another batch. Boy, they don't even bother anymore telling you how many. It just says another batch of Starlink Internet satellites. That's it. January 21st. This will be a United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket, which will launch the USS F-8 mission with the 5th and 6th satellites for Space Force's Geosynchronous Space Situational Awareness Program, designed to help the military track and observe objects in geosynchronous orbit. The rocket will fly in the 511 vehicle configuration with 5-meter fairing, one solid rocket booster, and a single-engine Centaur upper stage. Also in January, but not yet determined exactly when. Oh, well, wait a minute, because, well, it has a launch window, but no date. This will be from Space Cape Canaveral, SLC-46. Commercial small satellite Astra will launch 6 small experimental CubeSats developed by NASA and U.S. universities. Payloads will include CubeSat radio interferometry experiments consisting of 2 small satellites CubeSat and the ionospheric neutron content envoys, orbit sat, and a mission called R5S1. CubeSats were selected for launch by NASA through the agency's Venture Class Launch Services program. Also in January, there'll be a launch from Complex 1A of the Hyatt Peninsula in New Zealand. The Radio Lab Electron rocket will launch two small second-generation satellites for Black Sky's commercial fleet of Earth observation spacecraft. January 27th, Falcon will launch out of LC-40 at Cape Canaveral. The CSG-2 radar surveillance satellite for ASI. This is the second of the Cosmos Skynet second-generation satellites. The Italian space agency ASI is in charge. That's all we know. Secret stuff. January 29th, we'll also see a launch of Starlink 47. A bunch of satellites. That's what they're calling them now. And that's it from here. So let me go ahead and send it to Brenda, WB50ZL. See how you're doing on signal. Everybody's had a fun time this evening. What do you have for us from KE5IJX?
Thank you, Tom. This is WB50ZL. No, it's just really hard to hear everybody tonight because of the signal. But hopefully everybody can understand me a little bit. This article in Astronomical Discoveries is Youth Insight Solar System. Imagine being in a place where the winds are so strong they move at the speed of sound. This is just one aspect of the atmosphere on XO3b, one of the class of exoplanets, planets outside the solar system, as hot Jupiters. The eccentric orbit of the planet sees conditions hundreds of times stronger than what we experience on Earth. In a recent paper, a McGill-led research team provides new insight into what seasons look like on a planet outside our solar system. The researchers also suggest that the extremely high surface temperature degrees is hot enough to vaporize rock. And puffiness of the XO3b reveal traces of the planet's history. Findings will potentially advance both the scientific understanding of how exoplanets form and evolve and give some context for planets in our own solar system. Hot Jupiters are massive worlds like Jupiter that orbit closer to their parent stars than Mercury is to the Sun. Though not present in our own solar system, they appear to be common throughout the galaxy. Despite being the most studied type of exoplanet, major questions remain about how they form. Could there be subclasses of hot Jupiters with different formation stories? For example, do these planets take shape far from their parent stars at a distance where it's cold enough for molecules such as water to become solid, or closer? The first scenario fits better with theories about how planets in our solar system are born, but what would drive these types of planets to migrate so close to their parent stars remains unclear. To test these ideas, a recent McGill-led study used data from NASA's retired Spitzer telescope at the atmosphere of exoplanet 3D. They observed eccentric seasons and measured exoplanet complete full resolution looking at atmospheric dynamics evolution. This planet is an extremely interesting case study for atmospheric dynamics and interior evolution, as it lies in an intermediate regime of planetary mass where processes normally neglected for less massive hot Jupiters may come into place. As Lisa Dang, the author of a paper recently published in the Astronomical Journey, a PhD student at McGill University's Department of Physics. XO3b is circular almost all other known hot Jupiters. This suggests that it recently migrated toward its parent star. If that's the case, it will eventually settle into a more eccentric orbit of the planet. Also leads to seasonal variations hundreds of times stronger than what we experience on Earth. Nicholas Cowan, a McGill professor, explains that the entire planet receives 3 times more energy and close to its star during a brief, short sort of star than when it's far from the star. Researchers also estimated the planet's mass and radius and found that the planet was surprisingly puffier than expected. This suggests the possible source of this heating could be due to leftover nuclear fusion. Excess warmth and puffs and ESA mission found that the planet is puffier than expected, indicate its interior may be particularly energetic. Spitzer observations also hint reduces much of its as XO3b's excess thermal emission isn't seasonal. It's observed throughout the year on XO3b. Also, the excess is from the planet's interior. Observational squeeze on the cosmic system up on orbit makes the planet to the sun. The resulting changes in interior pressure produce staying as unusual hot Jupiter provides an opportunity to test ideas about which formation processes may produce certain characteristics in these exoplanets. For example, could tidal heating also be a sign of recent migration? The alone won't unlock the mystery, but it serves as an important test for emerging ideas about these scorching giants. This is from ScienceDaily.com. Back to WD50ZL.
All right, thank you, Ms. Brenda. I know it's been a challenge for everybody this evening. The computer just not up to snuff thanks to the wind. So my apologies to everyone. I think we're going to end it here just because it's becoming really difficult. So I want to thank everybody who checked in this evening. We had 23 check-ins. And I want to thank you all and join us here next week on Saturday night at 9 p.m. to discuss astronomy, space, and space exploration. On this net, the sky is never the limit. We're always looking for next control stations for this and all the other DARC nets. Go ahead and try your hand at it. Why not? Give it a shot. Send an email to nets@w5fc.org. Follow topics and discussions on this net, astronomy in general, on Facebook and Twitter, as well as our audio and video streams, the archives, and other useful resources by going to the club website, w5fc.org. Until next Saturday night, this is Kilo Echo 5, India Charlie X-Ray Tom, and I'll be closing the net at 22:24 local time. 7-3, everybody. Enjoy discovering the universe. And we'll start the Afterglow movie net. I don't know what kind of participation we'll have, but we'll see. I'm going to have to step out on this one. I'm not going to be able to stay. So if somebody would like to be net control, that would be very helpful. And talk to some folks who'd like to volunteer. That would be fine. Started at 10:30. Thank you all. KE5ICX. Clear.
normal state.
I'm completely operational and all my circuits are functioning perfectly.
Afterglow Movie Net.
This is WB50ZL with the Afterglow Net. Every Saturday night after Skynet, we have a movie discussion with Afterglow Net. Tonight's choice is I'll Follow You Down. Does anybody want to use the repeater before we start the net? Alrighty. Well, this is another time travel story, and it goes like this. In 2000, a professor from Toronto goes to Princeton, New Jersey for conference, but does not return. Devastating his wife and young son, Errol, he is eventually presumed dead. 12 years later, Errol talks with his grandfather, who suggests that his father's disappearance might have been the result of a scientific experiment involving time travel. Errol is determined to find out the truth. Errol is a mathematical genius and solves equations necessary to recreate the time travel machine his father had built to go back in time in 1946. As he's working with his grandfather on this machine and the math and physics of it, Errol's girlfriend, Grace, becomes pregnant and makes him doubt the necessity of his endeavor. However, when Grace has a miscarriage and Errol's mother commits suicide, Scarborough. Sorry. Take it. What's your name? I'm sorry. Your call sign phonetically, your name, and whether or not you saw the movie. And we'll take general check-ins right now.
November 5, Bravo, Bravo. Bill and Irving. I did see the movie.
Okay, November 5, Bravo, Bravo, Bill. Anybody on Eppley?
Anybody picking me up?
I'm sorry, station calling. I missed your call and name. Would you come back with it? Okay, any other check-ins?
WB50ZL, N5BB. Brenda, if it's only you and me, I suggest that we just close this and maybe defer to next week or something. The repeater's so noisy that it's just hard to use. N5BB.
Yeah, it's just strange to try and listen to it. I agree. Yeah, let's just postpone it to next week, and this will be a good movie to talk about. I will certainly enjoy that, because there's a lot to talk about here, but there's no point if it's just us. All right, sorry everybody, but everybody stay warm and have a good rest, and we will see you next week. This is WB50ZL clear.
Yeah, I think that's a good decision because this is a pretty good movie, I thought, and we want to give a chance for lots of people to make a decision on it. So I hope Tom just publishes that we'll continue discussion on the movie until next week, and we won't have a new movie next week. I think that's a good choice. Anyway, that's my 2 bits. See you. Have a good week. Stay warm. It's cold and windy out here. WB50ZL in 5dB.